How much will the price of an average home be in the next 30 years? Well, let's do some calculations. So, if we look at the median house prices sold for the United States, we can see that in 2023, the average house prices is $416,100 per home. But that is the median price of homes right now. Right? What we want to know is how high will it be in 10 years? So for that, we're going to be looking at data for the past 40 years because that will give us a better understanding of the housing market over time. Okay? So 40 years from 2023 is 1983. And we can see that in 1983, an average house in the US was only $73,300. Now the average is $416,000. That's a lot. But how much is it? Well, that's actually very easy to figure out. We click Edit Graph, and then what we do is that we divide this A formula and we divide it by the first number, 73,300. Now, what you want to pay attention to is that the very first number is equal to 1, 1.00000. Now, the last number, 5.676, right, that tells you how much it has grown in comparison to in 1983, which is 567% growth in the past 40 years. Now, in order to use that number, you would take 5.676 and divide by 40, and then that would give you a 0.1419, which means that it has grown around 14.19% every year over the past 40 years. This number is very important because it will allow you to figure out the price of the houses for any years in the future. So, how do we use this? Well, let's say that you have this house that's worth $416,100 and you want to figure out how much the price will be in 10 years. Well, you would first start off with in 10 years, and then you would multiply it by $416,100 per house. Then you multiply it by this number, which is 0.1419 per year. So you multiply that together, the years cancel, and then you are left with $590,445. And then you say, dude, Bon, that's not even that much. It's only gone up like, I don't know, $170,000 in the next 10 years. No, that's not the actual price of the house. That is how much the house has appreciated in value over the past 10 years. The actual price of the house is $590,000 plus $416,000. So the final value of the house would be $1,006,545. How crazy is that? Your $416,000 home has appreciated to over $1 million. And in 10 years, it has more than doubled in valuation. Now, what if you want to know how much the house will be worth in 30 years? Well, in that case, you would take 30 years, multiply by $416,100 per house. Then you would multiply by 0.1419 per year. The years cancel, and then you would be left with $1.771 million. And this is profit. That is how much your house has grown. The total value of your house would be a $2.187 million home. And that is the beauty of this number. Just plug in the number of years that you want, and you guys will have a rough estimate of how much the houses will be. But what if your house is not $416,100? What if your house is $800,000 or $200,000? Well, that's also very easy. Instead of $416,000, you just replace it with the number that you want. So let's say that instead of a $416,000 home, we have an $800,000 home because homes in California are very, very expensive. So in order to figure that out, we would take in 10 years multiplied by $800,000 per house times 0.1419. That would give us $1.135 million over the next 10 years. The total value of the house would be that number plus $800,000, which is $1.935 million. Now, just a disclaimer, there is no guarantee that it will continue at this rate over the next 10, 20 years. The value of 0.1419 is the average that it has gone up over the past 40 years. In fact, if you take the average over the last 30 years, it is actually 0.1066. So if you want to be more conservative and pick 0.1066, that should give you a little bit more conservative numbers. But overall, the prices of the houses has gone up over the past 40 years, and it will likely continue at least over the next 10 or 15 years. Well, and that's all that I have for you guys today, and thank you so much for watching. If you guys like the content, please subscribe. All right, until next time, bye.